to show you how you get the selections from Excel horse racing selections into your BetEngine bot. Okay, each day these selections are available from about 3:30 a.m. UK time. So you bring the software up quite simply and we click on the scan button, and what will happen is the green line will go across the bottom and the selections for the day will start appearing. Now in this last column here, these are the ratings that the Exceed formula gives each horse, and in the results that we show on the website, it is the horses that are rating 30 or better. So we look at here, Duke North won't be a selection, and we'll cover that just in a sec. Once we've done this, we put it into a CSV file, which is a file that's part of Excel, or if you don't have Excel, you can download OpenOffice and it will read this file. So the green line's gone across and we can see these are all our selections for today. So all we need to do is click on the Save button, and this brings up a screen where you can save it at. So you save it under a name that you can recognize, because you'll need to come in here and load it into the BetEngine bot if you're going to use BetEngine. Okay, so we're just going to save it as new test. So once we save that, we're brought up with, if you've got Excel on your computer or if you've got OpenOffice, it will come up with a file looking like this. Okay, now there's a couple of things that we need to do here with this file before it's ready to load up into BetEngine. The first one is if you're going to use the 30 plus rated horses, which is what we suggest you do, then what you need to do in the CSV file here is to go through and delete the rows where the horses are not 30 or more. So we'll just go through. This won't take very long to go through them. So that's deleted the horses that were under 30. We do include horses, if they're rated 30, we include them. If they're under 30, we don't. Okay, so now we've got the date, the time, the track where it's happening, and the horses. Regardless of whether these, see, these aren't in time order, but this is all sorted out when we load it into the bot. Another thing, some people's softwares, like, see Hannah's Magic down there, we just highlight it. It's got an apostrophe there between the H and the S. What you need to do is, and it's easy just to do it now rather than the software tell you it's not loading, is just to take out that apostrophe like that. Okay, so just quickly scan through there. There's no other horses with apostrophes. So what we're going to do now is, in order to get this into the bot, the BetEngine bot, we need to save this, and we also need to close the file, because the BetEngine bot cannot load an open file. And this is one of the little quirky things with Excel is we're going to save this file, and it'll ask us, do we want to save it in the CSV format? We must save it in CSV format, so we say yes. Okay, now we need to close the file. So once when we go to close the file, we get asked, do you want to save the changes? Yes, we want to save them. And once again, do we want to keep it as a CSV? Yes. Okay, now what's happened is now that has saved the file, and it is ready now for us to bring up our BetEngine and load that. So what we'll do now is we'll bring up BetEngine, and we'll just, the first part of when I bring it up is we'll set up the BetEngine in order to take to bet to the parameters that we suggest that you use for these Exceed ratings. Okay. What I've got now is I've brought up a brand new System 8 here. It's got nothing in it. So we'll just click on the tab and we'll put in, I've already got one called Exceed, so I'll just put this one Exceed Test. So you name the tab. This way here you can come back to it whenever you need to. We just save it. You can see up there now I'll just move this up a bit for a minute. It's got exceed test. Okay, so now we're ready to set the parameters that we want. This tab, each tab in BetEngine is its own system tab. Okay, so in our exceed tab, what we're going to do now is we're going to set the runners. We start with the events. Okay, and this is where you set what you want the bot to bet at. So in this case, we're going to be betting UK and Ireland. We're going to be betting handicaps, non-handicaps, flat, national hunt, all weather, and we're betting in the win market only. And what we need to do here now, the results are better if we use races that aren't class 6 or the odd class 7. So if we click on the configure class button, at the moment the bot's betting on all these 7 classes. So if we don't want to bet on these 2 here, we just click that one and click that one. Now that means if I click save now, it's only going to bet on class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5, plus all your majors and everything else. But more importantly, it's not going to bet on class 6 or class 7. So if we save those, what we need to do now is I'll just come down here. This Bath race here, the 2010, that is a class 6 race. So if we reload the races now, and it will reload to these configurations we've just set up, and we go back down, we'll see now that 2010 race is missing. It's not showing in the bot, so it's not going to be betting on that race, and that's the beauty of setting the class configurations here. Okay, if you want to bet on all classes, well, of course you don't need to configure that. So we just quickly move on. In the rankings, we're setting it to manual, even though we're loading a CSV. By loading it up, it is actually a manual process, so we just click that to manual. We don't touch anything there. Now in the criteria, the best criteria for exceed is the minimum odds of 3.5 and the maximum odds of 9. So we just put in the odds restrictions. Minimum amount of runners, 4 is probably going to get us a decent sort. Now we don't touch anything else there. The rest of that stays the same. Ranges, we don't do anything in. Filters, that's all the default settings. We just leave them as is. Snapshot we don't use. Betting, now this is where we need to set the time here, and I suggest anywhere in the last 60 seconds. If I put in 26 seconds, this bot will act at the 26-second mark before the official off. It will go in and place my bet. Bet on joint favourites, well, it's not really, doesn't really matter. We can just untick it. We're only going to have one horse in the race anyway. Dutch, we're not doing anything in Dutch. Results, we just, as we're not progressive betting, it doesn't really matter, but it'll come up with the Betfair settled markets. Custom, well, we haven't got any custom settings. General, everything in general is okay for us. We just leave it as default. The only thing we need to come up to here now is this control panel looks after the staking. We're only level staking. We're backing, so we leave it on back. And we will be betting obviously live. Once we load the fields, we will go from inactive to active. But now the most important part is we'll just save the settings. Okay, so we don't have to set up anymore now. All we need to do is come and click on our tab that's got exceed on it, and it'll be all set, ready to go. Okay, so that's set. Now we want to load the selections. So all we need to do is come down here to the load selections button. We click on that, and it will bring up a menu. So this menu is obviously where you've saved that CSV file from before. We saved ours in Bet Dynamics, which are the people, because the Bet Dynamics is the is where the bot is housed, and I just saved mine there. It's easier. This is the file, if you remember, that we saved, the new test file. So all we need to do is click on the new test file and open it. Okay. And we'll get a message shortly that it didn't work. Okay, so I'll just pause the video and check out why. I found out why, and I won't edit it out because it's something that I often do. The thing is, I left the rating column in there, and we can't do that. We must delete the rating column because the bot can't read it. So we just highlight that column and we delete it. We should only have the 4 columns: the date, the time, the track, and the horse. So I'll just save this. Okay, I'm sort of glad that that did happen because it just shows you we only need the 4 columns. So let's go back to where we are now. We load the selections. Find the file there. We click on open. Now, as you know, there's about 24 horses in that file. And bingo, they've loaded. What we can see here now, see the one with the tick next to the 1440 from Newcastle. If I click on from Newmarket, you can see there Arab Spring is the horse there. And that's one of our selections. So if we scroll down, the races with ticks in are the races that we have got selections in. Okay, now that that's all done, the only thing that we need to do now in order to activate the bot is click activate, and once the tab is activated, you can see there it changes color. So at the moment I've got System 10 working, that's doing some Australian racing, and the Exceed Test 1 there is active. So that's all we need to do now is leave the computer on, leave it connected to the net, walk away, and this bot will continue betting for as long as we've got these selections in here. Okay, you can use a virtual private server if you want to. Like, that's why it was a little bit slow loading. This bot you see here is on a virtual server. So I can turn my computer off and the virtual server stays on and the bot keeps working. So it's an extra cost. It's around about £17 a month to have a virtual server. But I find it with the internet dropping out where I live and some power cuts and that, it's much safer to have it sitting there. Okay, so that is how we get the CSV into the bet engine. You've seen the whole process. It's taken me like 12 minutes to show you setting through. That included setting up the bot, which we won't have to do again. So you can see it takes me about 2 or 3 minutes to set up for the day with the Exceed selections. Okay, this is Steve signing off, wishing you all the best. Thank you.